Okay, everyone, it is currently Tuesday, May 10th. We're in the middle of the morning stream on the European Guild Wars 2 servers, and they just released some patch notes. I have not read these yet. We are going to check these out right now and see what they have done. World Polish fixed an issue in which certain event NPCs would use mount-specific animations while emoting, causing them to clip through the floor in the Seitung province. I haven't seen that, but that's funny. Fixed an issue in which certain event NPCs were using the incorrect model in relation to their voice in Seitung province. I think I know who that is. There is a couple of humans that had the bird voices. They were like clickety-clacking, like they had mandibles or something when they would talk, but it was just like a human, so it didn't make any sense. Fixed an issue in which mounting in certain parts of the Zen Daijun Temple in Seitung Province would cause the player to be teleported to the start of the Spirit Vestibule Maze. I think I've only been in there one time, so I have not experienced that, but okay. Rebalance the experience and loot distribution within the Clear Out the Invasive Species from the Hatchery event in Seitung to be more equally rewarding when it is successfully completed. Added a puzzle helper effect to the Seitung Province Spirit Vestibule Maze that allows players who have already beaten all the bosses to help others with the event. Added an announcement for when the Aetherblade Assault meta event fails in Seitung Province to better communicate the failure state. Added an announcement for when the Adolescent Leviathan boss first uses its Leviathan Swallow skill to help educate players on the event mechanic for all versions of the event. That's always good. Having to learn by people telling you after you die is never fun. Hey, thank you for the raid, buddy. Appreciate that. Fixed a bug that could prevent players from receiving full rewards from ley line anomaly events. Rebalance the event scaling and increase the health of the lab technicians in the Defend the Technicians while they redirect the power event and Canning Blackout meta event. This one I've seen like bug out multiple times, so I don't know if this addresses the issue I've seen where the breaker boxes just don't finish, but hopefully it's related. Fixed an issue in which Yao's dialogue wasn't displaying in chat and the lab technicians were calling the incorrect dialogue in the Defend the Technicians while they redirect the power event in Canning Blackout. Fixed an issue that caused Special Agent Tang to occasionally become permanently invisible during the Subdue the Purist Operatives event in Seitung Province. Fixed an issue in which the Stow Bundle and Equip Bundle special action skills were not removed after turning in a completed crafted bundle item to the Tengu merchants for the Mori Village Renowned Heart. I've never done that. I went to go do that heart for the first time for the map completion, and I got the like sewing kit that you had to put it together, and I was like, oh heck no. And I just went over and like punched some guy until I was done with it. I never learned that. Fixed a DX11 rendering bug that prevented Drakar's shadow from appearing on the walls of his lair. That would actually be... I haven't done Drakar in a while, but that would be a pain because you use the shadow to figure out where you need to line up for him to emerge from. Fixed an issue in which one of the middle attack options in Suwon's bite attack sequence failed to occur, causing back-to-back biting. Gosh dang it, they broke Suwon again? It's like every other patch. I'm glad they're trying, but every other patch since EOD has come out, they've broken and fixed Suwon. Fixed an issue with Suwon's hitbox indicator. But wait, there's more! With Suwon's hitbox indicator not appearing during the middle attack of her bite attack sequence, despite her being attackable during this time. Cassie says we had 8 back-to-back bites on the last run I did. Oh god. General. Fixed an issue in which the Black Lion trading post icon would be visible during cutscenes. Fixed an issue that caused Zoja to send players affiliated with the Vigil extra letters during the Flame and Frost story instead of Almora's Soulkeeper. You know what? It's anything that gets Zoja to send me mail is fine. There was a day where Felicia Day was streaming and someone in her chat was like, "Where's Zoja?" And she's like, "I don't know. I want to be Zoja again." I'm just saying, she makes it sound like they're not calling her. She's ready to pick up the phone. Fixed an issue in which a newborn Siege Troll hatchling would not appear in the Char home instance. Okay. Fixed a bug in which certain mount-based achievement effects would fail to be removed when the player dismounted. Fixed a bug that prevented the Alliance Breaker meta achievement from updating for players who had completed one of its achievements during the original Flame and Frost release, but had not finished the Alliance Breaker at that time. Fixed an issue that caused the red iris flower found in the urban battleground fractal to appear in merchant sell tabs. No one wants to buy the flower? Removed evasion frames from the Risen Acolyte's staff strike attack. Completed the beta for the DirectX 11 renderer. Woo! The X11 beta done. Oh man, you know what I would love for them to remove evasion frames from? The branded griffins in the Crystal Oasis. I have an alt parked there to chest. Occasionally he gets attacked by a griffin, and I turn to fight it, and that thing is evading for like 10 to 15 seconds. I'm waiting on it to stop evading so that I can hit it. It's hitting me fine. I hate those things. Fishing. Skiffs now have a health bar that becomes visible to their owner and party members when the skiff is anchored and under 100% health. Fixed an issue in which player characters would sometimes perform their normal standing idle animation instead of their engaged fishing idle animation right after casting their line out. Fishing nodes have, they're fishing with the power of sheer anger. Fishing nodes have been discovered at the subterranean lake located beneath Teku Nuhawk in the heart of Maguma. Fixed an issue in Harathi Hinterlids in which fishing node locations intended to be lake fish were using coastal fish instead. Added fish eggs bait to the Lion's Arch fishing supplies vendor to help anglers try to catch steelhead trout in nearby rivers. Corrected the golden Masir's icon, which was incorrectly using the same icon as the normal Masir fish. Fixed an icon in which players could see the red exclamation point marker over other players while fishing. Fixed an issue in which bobbers would sometimes persist in the world after their associated character logged out. That would be so annoying in a busy fishing area. Updated an area where mounts are disabled on the north side of Ember Bay to allow players to fully traverse the waters by skiff or skimmer. Increase the drop rate of snow crabs and Crichton crawfish when players fish from open water to provide more reliable sources of crustacean meat. Increase the drop rate of regional fish of exotic, ascended, and legendary rarity that are only available during dusk and dawn. I have only had to catch a single fish related to dusk or dawn, and that's because I did the achievement to get the Ascended Mace collection for the Mechanist, and there was some dumb orange fish I had to catch at like dawn or something. And I gotta say, I hated it. I hated it. I just reading Dusk and Dawn fish is just giving me PTSD. Increase the drop rate of regional fish of exotic rarity that are only available during day or night. Increased the drop rate of fish from the saltwater fisher collection when fishing from open water and from nodes named saltwater fish. Strike missions. The challenge mode for strike mission Zunlai Jade Junkyard is now available? Oh shoot, right out of left field. Players may activate challenge mode at any time by interacting with the challenge mote inside the instance. Oh, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Just in case this will be on YouTube. Look, Dad. I'm on TV. Are you proud yet?
I'll leave that in. Increased rewards for completing the Aetherblade hideout with challenge mode active. Increase the duration of the stun... Oh, wait, hold on a sec, back up. I was on autopilot there. Increased rewards for Aetherblade hideout with challenge mode active. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, the rewards before today was 2 yellow items and 1 LI. It was absolutely not worth, just from a reward standpoint, it was not worth doing a challenge mode strike with those rewards that is, by the way, that I consider that strike to be harder than all normal mode raid bosses. Maybe like all of them except Kadim the Peerless and Doom. And then it was also harder than many challenge mode raid bosses. And the rewards were just... Increase the duration of the stun applied to the Echo of Scarlet Briar and My Trin when their defiance is broken from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. Fix an issue which caused portions of the Telegraph of Focus Destruction attack to scale incorrectly in Aetherblade hideout. Fix an issue which caused the exposed effect used in strike missions to be removed if the target was downed. Okay. Well, I think during tonight's stream I'm going to be trying out Challenge Mode Jade Junkyard. Alright, raids. The Key of Adashim. Fix an issue with the Cardinal Sabir encounter, Raid Wing 7 I believe, in which some mechanics would be unresponsive. Items fixed an incorrect material requirement to craft the medium monastery coat. Thank God. Competitive balance. Oh, shoot. Oh my God, there's so much more. All right, Necromancer. Rise is a skill that we've seen a lot of feedback around following the last set of balance changes. One of the primary issues of the skill is the number of minions it's capable of summoning. That's the whole point of it. As these minions can potentially soak up a lot of damage while also creating damage threats via Death Nova. To address this, we've reduced the target cap of the skill, which will both reduce the number of minions summoned and increase the cooldown of the skill by granting fewer hits of cooldown reduction from Augury of Death. Is this targeting World v World? Rise. Reduce max number of targets struck from 5 to 2 in World v World. Oh, man! I'm not even a Necro player and I hate that. Death Nova, reduce the power coefficient from 0.75 to 0.6. That's so... Okay, hold on. Let me share my thoughts here. In World v World, your standard, cookie cutter group is like a blob of people, and how powerful they are is just based on how good they stack on a single point. Because there's no unit collision. And... it's mostly, healers, some people blocking projectiles, and a lot of DPS, and then they all run around all as one, and that's it. There was a new sort of composition that had emerged, and honestly, I found it cool that someone came up with a different way of playing, and it was to use a lot of Necros. And what they do is, when the fight starts, they all use Rise. And that summons, for every Necro, they summon up to 5 additional adds, which for a very, very short time, they had a lot more targets on their side of the fight. So anytime that their pile of people was getting shot by spells and abilities that target, 5 players usually, there was a high chance that it was going to hit those little minions and not the players. And the minions would die and buckle, stuff like that. But the whole thing with if you were running Mass Reapers is you had to win in like 10 to 20 seconds. After that, Rise wore off and it was a big opening where you were open to attack. I thought it was really cool that there was finally a new way of playing. So I find this kind of sad that they're shutting it down, personally. And no, I didn't play that. The only time I've been playing World v World in the last year, I've basically been either a heal scrapper or a longbow ranger. I've not been playing Necro. I thought this was neat. Sad times. Another World v World goal for this update is to bring down some of the primary sources of ranged AoE damage to create more opportunities for melee pushes. Ranged versus melee is always going to be a delicate balance, as we do want both options to be viable, but we currently feel that range pressure is too high. Really? I feel like when I'm shooting at like a blob of people, like no one ever dies. Okay, we're making adjustments. For Necro, this involves bringing down the damage of Well of Suffering and Well of Corruption. Unholy Feast is also being brought back down to its previous damage value, as the increase from the previous update pushed it a bit higher than it needed to be. Well of Suffering, damage reduced by about 1/3. Well of Corruption, power coefficient reduced by about 1/3 in World v World only. Unholy Feast, power coefficient reduced by from 1.3 to 1.0 in World v World only. Okay. Revenant. The Revenant's hammer is another source of ranged damage pressure that we looked at in this update, with both Coalescence of Rune and Phase Smash receiving damage reductions. Coalescence of Ruin reduced power coefficient from 1.15 to 0.91 in World v World. Phase Smash reduced power coefficient from 1.2 to 1.0 in World v World. Minor nerfs. I'm kind of sad to see them mess with the Revenant Revenant Hammer is like useless everywhere except World v World. I'm kind of sad to see them making a stab at it. Vindicator has continued to overperform in PvP, largely due to the defensive strength of the Kurzik side of the Legendary Alliance stance. We want to keep the energy costs on the lower side to maintain the flow when switching between the two sides, but the cooldowns of Tree Song and Battle Dance make them too easy to use repeatedly while staying on the Kurzik side. Saint's Shield is also getting an adjustment to its attribute scaling to bring down the sustainability of Avatar Amulet builds. We're continuing to keep an eye on the strength of Saint's Shield for non-healing builds, but we want to gauge the impact of the adjustments to Tree Song and Battle Dance before making any further changes there. Tree Song reduced the number of conditions removed from 5 to 3 in PvP, increased cooldown from 3 to 8 seconds in PvP. Okay. Battle Dance increased cooldown from 3 to 10 in PvP. Saint's Shield reduced the healing and barrier attribute scaling from 1.0 to 0.7 in PvP. Okay. With the defensive side of the Vindicator, while the defensive side of the Vindicator has been strong, its offensive capability has been a bit less impressive since the adjustment to Eternity's Requiem. We've bumped up the damage on some of its weaker skills on the Greatsword and the Luxon side of Legendary Alliance stats to make damage-focused Vindicators a bit more threatening. Phantom's Onslaught increased power coefficient. Before even going into this, I'm not even sure if they needed this. Just, like, it felt like they were brought down from unstoppable killing machines to kind of a fair fight. So I'm kind of surprised at this part. But Phantom's Onslaught increased the power coefficient from 1.18 to 1.33 in, I'm just going to say PvP modes, but all of these are PvP and World v World. Scavenger Burst increased power coefficient from 1.25 to 1.55. Nomad's Advance increased power coefficient from 2.0 to 2.3. Spear of Archimoris, I almost never see this thing used, increased power coefficient from 2.33 to 2.67. Reduced the energy cost from 20 to 15. Elementalist. Elementalist is another profession getting a pair of adjustments to some of its more potent range damage skills, namely Meteor Shower and Firestorm from, this is against World v World, isn't it? From Fiery Greatsword. Meteor Shower reduced the power coefficient from 1.1 to 0.88 in World v World only. Ah, man, I gotta say, I don't really like this direction they're going where everybody just has to be a melee blob. Firestorm Conjured Fury Greatsword reduces max number of targets struck from 10 to 5. Fiery Eruption reduced max number of targets struck from 10 to 5 in World v World only. Guardian. Finished up the range damage adjustments for this update are a pair of changes for Guardian, bringing down the damage of Symbol of Punishment and Justice. Symbol of Punishment going from 0.33 to 0.28. Minor nerf. Sword of Justice, power coefficient from 0.54 to 0.45, and reduced ammunition count from 3 to 2 in World v World only. Someone in chat said Meteor Shower is like the only way to get rid of an arrow card on the wall. No. Scourge Shades, Ranger, Longbow, Engineer Mortar Kit, still Meteor Shower, but not as quickly, can all take down Siege up on a wall. They can all do that. Engineer. Mechanist has continued to be a dominant force in PvP. And for this update, we've taken a harder look at some of its defensive capabilities. Rectifier Signet, in particular, is an extremely potent source of healing, especially in combination with the Grandmaster trait Mech Core J Drive, and it's something that needed to come down. We've also made another... Okay, so to explain that, because I happen to be on my mech right now, let me go into the game really quickly here. Alright, so... Okay, here's Rectifier Signet. Rectifier Signet heals you every second, but it's not regen. So because it's not a boon, it can't be removed. It's a Signet. So it heals you every second. These numbers are lower in PvP. I'm in Mistlock right now. But most Signets, when you activate them and they go on cooldown, they're no longer doing the passive. However, with J Drive, which is the box at the very bottom there on that pop-up, your Signet skills still give their passives while they're on cooldown. So you could use this anytime you needed to heal, and the passive didn't disable. So it's very, very strong. And it's something almost exclusively in PvP or open world stuff like that. Your support mechanists are typically running around with medkit to heal other people. So that combination I just showed you is seen often in PvP. It's less of a thing to be worried about in other game modes. Okay. We've also made another slight adjustment to mech frame channeling conduits to further reduce Mechanist alacrity uptime. Finally, we have an adjustment to the Engineer shield cooldown. Dude, at this point, just remove alacrity from PvP. They have hit this skill over and over and over. We have adjustments to the Engineer shield cooldowns. We've seen the strength of the shield previously with Protection Hollowsmith builds. It's no surprise to see it again as a key piece for the Mechanist. Shield skills are available a bit too often with the reduced cooldown of Overshield. So we've bumped up the cooldowns of Magnetic Shield and Static Shield. So Overshield is a trait that does your typical 20% reduced cooldowns of blank weapon, in this case shields. Magnetic Shield is a block, Static Shield is a reflect projectiles, both for a couple seconds. Rectifier Signet. Reduce the pulse healing from 230 to 142. They almost halved it. Mech frame channeling conduits, which originally did not have a internal cooldown at all, then gained a 1 second internal cooldown, and then a 3 second internal cooldown, now has a 4 second internal cooldown. And it gives you like 1 second of alacrity. Magnetic Shield, increased cooldown from 25 to 30. Static Shield, increased cooldown from 30 to 40. Oh my god. Oh man. Ranger. What I kind of hate about this is the Mechanist. And I of course am a Mechanist fan. I'll be clear about it. At first it was a danger to like killing you. Then they really nerfed the mech, and it's like a lot more fragile now. So then it became more of a bunker spec. Like the Mechanist just sits on a node and just tries to not die and hold the node as long as possible. Now they're nerfing that. So I don't know what their end goal is. Like, they've pushed it out of being an assassin at this point, and now it's like they're really punching it in the one thing it has left, which is being a bunker. I'm wondering if the end goal, do they just want mechs out of PvP? I'm not sure. But this is like 4th or 5th nerf to them in a row. Ranger. We have enjoyed seeing the recent performance of the Untamed specialization in PvP, but it's clear that the damage of the Drake's tail swipe is a bit too high, and we're bringing it down a notch. Literally, the first thing they said when they announced Untamed is you'll be able to manually control your pet for all you tail swipe enjoyers out there. They knew this was coming. They memed it. Tail swipe reduced power coefficient from 0.9 to 0.72 in PvP. Thief. Spectre is another specialization that has continued to perform well following the previous adjustments to its sustain ability. Spectre is definitely what I fear most in PvP right now. We're adjusting Shadow Force generation with the goal of making Spectres a bit more susceptible to enemy pressure. Spectre reduced Shadow Force gained per initiative from 1% to 0.75% in PvP. That's it? I am honestly surprised they're not doing more there. Okay. Structured PvP. Rune of the Trapper. Reduce the stealth duration from 3 seconds to 1 second. But does it still give 3 seconds of super speed? So Rune of the Trapper gives stealth and super speed. And stealth stacks up to 10 times. Sorry, not 10 times, 10 seconds. So if for example wait, I'm getting my wires crossed. Stealth stacks, super speed stacks up to 10 seconds. If a Dragon Hunter just threw down all their traps, they would get like 10 to 15 seconds of stealth. So this is mostly targeted at them. You do occasionally see Rangers using the traps, but like Rangers don't have an elite trap. They've got utility ones, and if they're going to bring a stun break, they can't bring full traps there. So a Ranger might have between 0 and 2 in PvP. Rarely 3. So I feel like this is mostly aimed at what Dragon Hunters have been doing. Blackline Trading Company Gem Store, the Thousand Seas Pavilion, aka Fishlock Sanctuary, added the ability to use the waypoint from the Thousand Seas Pavilion map to access other map layers. That's awesome. While I continue reading, I'm going to restart my game to get the patch, and I'm going to see if I can test that before the end of this video. Updated many of the Mystic Forge transforms to allow them to be used in water. Was anyone concerned about that? Okay. Updated the Mystic Forge to include male Largos in its pool of possible player transformations. Thank God. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue in which the Winged Reverie skiff skins pilot animation. Okay. All right. That is the end of the list of that. Okay. So I'm going to swap over to Guild Wars 2 here. We're zoning back in. I'm going to check, because that was one of the big things I said about the Thousand Seas Pavilion in the video where I reviewed it, is that it doesn't let you access the world map, which is awful. So let's go to Thousand Seas Pavilion right now and see if we can access the world map. Because that was one of the biggest negative things about it, is it gave you additional loading screens. Like, oh boy, I got this new home node. Multiple loading screens now. So we're in Thousand Seas Pavilion. You hit M. There's layers over here on the right side now. You can click between them, or you can hold Shift and mouse wheel, and we can see the world map, just like Mistlock. So I will update the information under the video I did where I did the review on it. It's a bit weird that you don't see the compass until you leave that, but honestly, this is way better than it was before, so I'll take it. So that's cool. That's cool. That is a very good change. Let's see, we got a couple of new items in the store. Let's see, sale ending soon on that. Let's see, limited Canthan Tigress Griffin mount pack. This is new. We got some Tiger Griffins. Got Kinkashi, Canthan, and Blazing Tigress. Every time they're like, and we need another idea for another mount. What if we set it on fire? New Jade Tech Eyepiece Helm Skin. Y'all remember that meme from the Spy Kids movie where the kid has the glasses and it does like enhance and it's just like goggle, 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 and it just keeps like zooming in. This reminds me of that. Zoom in on the eyeball. Look at that thing. Like, you turn your head too fast, you're gonna hit this on a door frame. Yeah, his power is over 9,000. And then looks like that might be it for the new stuff for today. Okay, and we just checked the Blackline Weapons Merchant. I'm still seeing the Steel Lotus collection there, so I don't believe there's any new weapon collections as of today. All right, I think that is everything for today. If you know of anything that I missed, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. I'm going to update a pinned comment under the Thousand Seas Pavilion video, letting people know that they can access the world map as of this time. And as always, links to everything discussed will be in the description down below if you desire them. See you next time.